Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a look outside our weather window on this Friday. Not a bad day today. We did have a mix of hazy skies and some clouds that rolled through our area. But all in all, it didn't have that overwhelming smoky smell out there today, and much less wind too. Boy, it sure came up last night. And as we head into the upcoming weekend and beyond, tell you what, it's going to feel more like summer than fall. Our first full weekend of fall, and we're going to see temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s, and then maybe middle 80s by the time we get to next week. And I'll have much more weather information for you coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. Using ground and air crews, firefighters were able to limit a wildfire yesterday afternoon off Swakane Canyon Road to about 12 acres. The Rock Island man who fled from the Okanogan County Jail in January of 2021 will serve 5 years in prison for escape. And 1 week before dueling Oktoberfests are supposed to go forward, the city of Leavenworth and the longtime organizer of the city's October celebration are suing each other over naming rights. But first, our top story tonight, the body of a 53-year-old Moses Lake woman who's been missing since Sunday was found by a farmer yesterday afternoon in Lincoln County, and now a nationwide arrest warrant has been issued for her husband. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office is seeking 54-year-old Charles Bergman on suspicion of first-degree murder. The Sheriff's Office said Teresa Bergman's body was found in tall grass near Kinchchi Road, that's north of Sprague. The Spokane coroner will be doing an autopsy to determine the cause of her death. An extensive search for the couple was underway, since their family reported them missing on Monday when they failed to return home after Charles Bergman left early Sunday for Moses Lake to pick up his wife at the Spokane airport. And then yesterday, the Grant County Sheriff's Office released this photo of 54-year-old Charles Bergman they said was taken recently at an ATM. Charles Bergman was last known to be driving a silver 2013 Chevrolet Impala with Washington license number BLU 5395. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office said he should be considered dangerous and not be approached. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call 509-725-3501. Well, using ground and air crews, firefighters were able to limit a wildfire yesterday afternoon off Swakane Canyon Road to about 12 acres. The fires shut down Highway 97A for about an hour. The brush fire was first reported at about 2:40 p.m., burning at 500 Swakane Canyon Road. Wenatchee and East Wenatchee firefighters arrived to find the fire being spread rapidly by strong winds and sent out a second alarm. That brings in additional units from the fire districts throughout the region, as well as helicopters from the Department of Natural Resources. Fire Chief Brian Brett said at one point the fire burned along a ridgetop with flames 4 to 8 feet high. The highway was closed just north of Rocky Reach Dam about 3:15 p.m. as flame reached the side of the roadway. It was reopened just over an hour later. Firefighters were able to have the fire contained just after 5 p.m. with mop-up work planned today. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The Rock Island man who fled from the Okanogan County Jail in January of 2021 will serve 5 years in prison for escape. 54-year-old Christian Edward White pleaded guilty last week to crawling through an air duct system to reach the jail roof and then fleeing the county along with fellow inmate Christopher Whitman. Both men were later recaptured. White made it as far as Portland, Oregon, with help from an accomplice before U.S. Marshals caught up with him. When he escaped, White left a letter saying he was fearful of catching COVID-19 while housed in the jail, which had suffered a widespread outbreak the month before his breakout. Well, 1 week before dueling Oktoberfests are supposed to go forward, the city of Leavenworth and the longtime organizer of that city's October celebration are suing each other over naming rights. Leavenworth filed its federal lawsuit in July against festival organizer Project Bayern, saying the group wrongfully adopted the name Leavenworth Oktoberfest for its new event, which is scheduled for September 30th through October 15th at Wenatchee's Town Toyota Center. Project Bayern is countersuing, asking to bar the city and its Chamber of Commerce from using the name for its own festival, which will run simultaneously in downtown Leavenworth. Both festivals may be over before a judge issues a ruling. No action in the case is scheduled until at least October 5th. Well, when we come back, Swakane County District Court is creeping closer to a decision on whether to throw out almost all DUI convictions that relied on breathalyzer evidence. The union representing Swakane County Jail staff are seeking COVID-related hazard pay for those employees, plus a 5% boost in base wages. Just as fire season will be winding down, the state plans an October prescribed burn in Swakane County. And the annual Washington State Autumn Leaf Festival returns to Leavenworth this weekend with the Grand Parade at noon on Saturday. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Football, school, cooler temps. It's almost fall, and what better way to celebrate than with the Fall Kickoff Savings Event at Click It RV. We've got to make room for new inventory, which means you'll save up to 30% off with no money down, 90 days to first payment, and lifetime warranties. With the best floor plans and many options under $40,000, there's never been a better time to buy. Visit us today on Frontage Road off I-90 in Moses Lake, or go to clickitrv.com.
Some thought it would never happen. The Supreme Court taking away a woman's right to choose, a right to privacy that existed for almost 50 years. It's extreme and dangerous. Now some DC politicians want to ban all abortions with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the mother. As a doctor and mother, I am outraged. As your congresswoman, I won't stand for it. I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message because this fight is now.
Welcome back. In another news, Swakane County District Court is creeping closer to a decision on whether to throw out almost all DUI convictions that relied on breathalyzer evidence. Judges Roy Four and Kyle Mott held one hearing yesterday and scheduled an October 20th date to hear arguments from lawyers for former DUI suspects and for Swakane County and the city of Wenatchee. Local attorney John Brangwin is leading an effort to dismiss at least 26 DUI convictions, and with many more to follow. A Kitsap County court ruled back in June that police breathalyzer machines throughout Washington were wrongly calibrated when measuring a suspect's blood alcohol level. The finding could overturn tens of thousands of DUI cases statewide going back more than a decade. The union representing Swakane County Jail staff are seeking COVID-related hazard pay for those employees, plus a 5% boost in base wages. AFS-CME representatives asked Swakane County commissioners on Monday to consider a one-time payout of $2,800 for each jail staffer who managed inmates during the height of the pandemic, dating back to February of 2020. That payout would come from federal CARES Act money. The union also asked commissioners to consider increasing jail workers' pay scale to retain those still on staff. Jail officials say both measures would cost the county about $202,000 for the one-time bonus, plus $21,000 a month to increase wages for 67 employees. Commissioners have yet to make a decision on those proposals. Well, just as fire season will be winding down, the state plans an October prescribed burn in Swakane County. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife said if conditions allow, they'll be burning about 500 acres in the Okanogan Wildlife area, about 20 miles southeast of Wenatchee. Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife and other land management agencies use prescribed burns to reduce the risk and severity of future wildfires and improve habitat for wildlife. The date of the burn depends on optimal weather conditions. Well, a reminder tonight that the annual Washington State Autumn Leaf Festival returns to Leavenworth this weekend with the Grand Parade at noon on Saturday. That will mean several street closures, including sections of U.S. Highway 2 from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. In addition to the parade, the festival will include the Wenatchee Youth Circus from 2 to 5 p.m. Saturday and an autumn leaf scavenger hunt both Saturday and then again on Sunday. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Wednesday's political forum, hosted by the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce, brought together candidates from multiple campaigns. You can watch the full session starting October 2nd here on the NCWLIFE channel. Perhaps the most closely watched race and our feature story tonight is for Swakane County Commissioner, where restaurant owner Sean Smith and Leavenworth City Council member Ann Hesberg hope to claim an open seat. Both candidates said if elected, helping businesses grow in the county is on their agenda.
And when I look at the success rate of businesses and their opportunity to fail, it's very, very high. 30% of restaurants fail in the first year. In the second year, the statistic goes even higher, closer to 50%. So supporting the small businesses and letting them know that they do have an opportunity here is important. But the thing we need to remember also is that the marketplace is going to be what chooses who succeeds and who fails. If you're building a better mousetrap or a better sandwich, the population and the community is going to support that. If you're not, then you need to have the heartbreak that your business just didn't work. But as we're looking at the kids that want to come up and do this, or the adults that want to come up and have their own business, we need to be there to support them. And I know that there's a lot of economic development going on between the city and the county, and what we do for these people that want to try and forge their own way is very important. So if we're not working in conjunction, we're going to have failure at a higher rate. So my desire is to work on economic development in our community.
I want to support economic development, new and expanded business opportunities, housing affordability, and responsible growth and development within Swakane County, all of which are closely tied to a very highly functioning community development department. And this isn't the case right now. If elected, I will be a collaborative leader who encourages honest dialogue around issues affecting Chelan County residents. I will work with my fellow commissioners to restore confidence in our community development department. If our businesses are successful, our communities are successful. I will work hard to create a more predictable regulatory environment for our businesses within Chelan County. Through that department is where we really will find success. Through regulatory processes, reasonable regulatory language that makes it easier for people to develop their businesses, to obtain land use permits, and to move forward in establishing their businesses or remaining successful in expanding them. It's very important that we have regulations that are easy to understand, easy to implement on the staff side so that people can get started in moving forward.
Time now to take a look at your north central Washington weather forecast. We made it through our work week, at least most of us that are done on Fridays, and it wasn't a bad Friday. We did see lots of smoke though. Here's a shot of Leavenworth. So the upper valley with the smokes, the fires a little bit closer to that area. Did see some little bit lower quality air throughout the day today. Not too bad in the Wenatchee Valley. We did see some clouds out there too. Kept our temperature down just a hair, but pretty much right where we should be for this time of year. 75, 74 is our normal high. 90, our record high temperature, and that was set back in 1974. Nice mild morning this morning at 57. 50 is where we should be for our normal overnight low temperature. 36 our record, and that was set in 1996. Sunrise 6:49, and the sun sets tonight just before kickoff in a lot of towns tonight at 6:56. Let's take a look now at what we can expect as we get you into the weekend. And I'll tell you, Saturday all through the early part of next week is just going to be beautiful. Almost 80 for Moses Lake, Ephrata, and Quincy tomorrow. 78 in Wenatchee, Entiat, and Chelan. Also 79 up in Omak, and just a little bit cooler back in the higher elevations. Still a beautiful day tomorrow into the middle 70s. Taking a look at what we can expect tonight, more of that haze around our area as we continue with that northwesterly flow, bringing the smoke into the Wenatchee area. Also a line of clouds, mainly in the Cascades, and maybe even some shower activity up around the Winthrop area overnight tonight. For Saturday, here's our high pressure. It's getting squeezed a little bit by low pressure, but a big ridge up and over all of the western United States, and that will provide a nice day on Saturday with high temperatures tomorrow in the upper 70s. Sunday, it's going to get even warmer. We're going to see mostly to sunny skies tomorrow, high temperatures in the low 80s, not tomorrow rather, but Sunday. And then on Monday, kicking off our next work week, warmer, high temperatures in the low to mid 80s around our area. And then by Tuesday, our weather begins to change a little bit. We're still going to see sunshine and unseasonably warm weather. In fact, mid 80s for Tuesday. But boy, as we get you into the middle of the week, things will begin to change just a little bit. Partly cloudy skies on Wednesday as that low moves up just off the coast of Washington and Oregon. Still going to be well above normal for this time of year at 80 degrees for Wednesday, but then things do change as we get you into Thursday. Even though high pressure will build in the Pacific, this area of low will bring some clouds back at us on Thursday. Also some cooler temperatures. And look at the widespread shower activity for Thursday. We're going to cool down too with high temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Taking a look at that 7-day forecast, 54 overnight tonight. Beautiful weekend, 78 Saturday, 81 on Sunday. And look at these temperatures as we start off our next work week. 83 on Monday, Tuesday, 85. And then the cool down begins. Still nice and 80 degrees on Wednesday. By Thursday, mostly cloudy, maybe a shower or two with a high temperature then of 74. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do A lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy finally Friday. The Mariners won a seesaw battle with Oakland yesterday to salvage the final game of that three-game series. 9-5 the final. Seattle grabbed a 3-0 lead in the top of the first, but saw it disappear in the third as the A's put up a 5-spot chasing George Kirby from the game. Mariners would come back, however, thanks in large part to Jarred Kelenic.
Jared walked his first time up.
Hits it high and deep right field. There it goes.
Wow.
Hey now, Jarred Kelenic, welcome back. He's jumping on that first pitch, his 5th home run of the season, RBI number 13. And that was a good-looking swing and a great result.
But he hits it. Exit velo of 108. Towering fly ball. Almost hit it into the tunnel.
That'll get it done to the gap. Ty France will score. Kelenic out of the box hard, digging for 2, and he's in there with an RBI double. New ball game at 5-5. Jarred Kelenic with a big day, a walk, a home run, and now an RBI double.
Look at this.
That's a squibber. It's going to work. Kelenic scores. Demo right behind him. Adam Frazier digging for 2. He is safe. A 2-run hustle double. Adam Frazier and the Mariners have a 7-5 lead here in the 6th. That will get the job done. A line drive to Tony Kemp. Walking home is Haniger, and the Mariners have an 8-5 lead. And Adam Frazier, cha-ching! A 3 RBI day for the Mariners second baseman. The Mariners lead is 9-5.
It wasn't 101.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Mariners, a much-needed win.
Now, big question mark emerging from the game is the health of rookie center fielder Julio Rodriguez. He had to come out of the game with back problems, according to manager Scott Service.
Concerning, again, it's the same area in the low back, and you know we're gonna he'll get workup tomorrow when we get to Kansas City, get an MRI and pictures of that. But you know, he felt great before the game. He's running around. We see him lead off the game, first pitch of the double, scores shortly after that. You know, as he was running out to take his position in the second inning, he just felt it kind of grab on him. He said something to Haniger in the outfield, and at that point he's like, you know, Hanny was watching him. He's like, this guy isn't right. So, you know, we went out and talked to Julio, and they don't do anything stupid out there to make it worse. But, you know, I'm concerned about it. Certainly he's so huge to our team. But more importantly, we need Julio healthy. And we'll get some pictures tomorrow. We'll have a better idea when we get over to Kansas City.
Seattle's in Kansas City for the first 3-game series. It's underway on Root Sports Northwest. In other American League West yesterday, Texas topped Angels 5-3. Baltimore blanked Houston 2-0 to remain 4 games behind Seattle in the wild card chase. Tampa Bay trounced Toronto 10-5 to pull within a game of the Blue Jays for the top wild card spot. Seattle remains a half game back of the Rays. Kansas City comes into the series with Seattle after having swept Minnesota, winning yesterday 4-1, virtually eliminating the Twins' chances for the postseason. Cleveland beat Chicago 4-2 to keep the White Sox 6.5 games back. Well, something's got to give tonight when Wenatchee hosts Eisenhower in Big 9 football. Both teams are winless so far this season at 0-3, and Wenatchee coach Scott Devereaux says he likes his team's chances of getting into the win column.
They're fairly predictable with what we've seen in the 3 games. They do some things formation-wise that kind of tip what they want to do. I think we're prepared for that. And, you know, what I've noticed in the 3 games, they never really drove the ball down the field on any, 10, 12, 15-yard drives. It was big plays where they score. And if we can make them drive the ball, I really like our chances.
Wenatchee's coming off a tough loss to Eastmont of the Bridges sportsmanship game. For senior two-way starter Evan Burdan, it's about focusing on Eisenhower.
Over the weekend, it's hard to keep the team's head in it, kind of keep them focused on the next game instead of the one we just lost. But for me personally, I watch the film on Saturday and then I flush it, get ready for the next game. There's no point in lingering on it.
Hear more from the coach and the player tonight during our pregame show with yours truly and Grant. That'll start at 6:30 here on the NCWLIFE channel. Eastmont's trying to make it 2 wins in a row. When they travel to Davis tonight, Coach Michael Don is sporting a new hairdo as they head for Yakima.
Our parents decided to auction off a haircut for me at our golf tournament. So I had a pretty sweet haircut for a few days, and then now I'm bald. So until my hair comes back, this is what I got.
How much was raised for your head?
It's like $500 or $600. So not bad. The way I figured is I can look goofy for a while. That'll help pay for a couple kids to go to camp.
Women around you, have they said anything about the hair? You kind of look a little more fierce now. It might be a look you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to stick around very long. I think I got a few weeks left, and my hair grows pretty fast, so I think I'll be all right.
Coach Don's hoping for another good game from his line, including the play of senior captain Andrew Swan.
Bishop gets the snap from center. Oh my, big penetration for Swan. Met the running back just as he got the handoff. Nothing happening as Swan swallows him up.
I think Andrew's been a heck of a player for us. I mean, obviously he's in his 4th year starting. He flies around. He plays with the mean streak. He's, so talented, so athletic that, we decided he's a guy we can use both ways a little bit in our heavy package, put him in, get some reps on the D-line, and he's been absolutely dominant there and probably earning himself a little bit more time there.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, I would come on blocks and tackles right there, wrap him up. It was real fun.
Swan says being selected as captain helped him channel his energies this offseason.
It's an honor to be, representing Eastmont. I mean, especially as a captain for the football team. Football over here is huge, and, I'm just honored. I don't know, it kind of helped me push myself over the off season. It really got me locked in. I had to figure out how to be a leader. It was a hard thing. More vocal, things like that.
Explain that too, because you guys do it a little different on how you select your captains. You guys have to kind of apply for the position, don't you?
Yes.
And what's the process?
So you have to fill out like this big, it's not pretty big. It's like a few questions, and then you go and have a one-on-one talk with Don, and those are tough. And then you'll go to the team and you'll have a talk with all the team, and then we'll all vote after that.
Swan and company kick off at David's at 7 o'clock. Also the same time for Moses Lake at home in a non-leaguer against Central Valley, and West Valley is at Sunnyside. Official shortage means odd start times for games in the Caribou Trail League tonight. Cashmere hosting Toppenish. That's already underway. Brewster visits Quincy at 7. Omak at Deer Park. Make that Chelan hosting Oroville at 7:45 tonight. And then at 8 o'clock at Peshastin, it's the Kodiaks and Granite Falls. B-School schedule is underway with Manson, where the Trojans host Highland. Waterville Mansfield visits Bridgeport. Liberty Bell entertains Concrete. Lake Roosevelt hosts Liberty. And Jenkins Chewelah travels to Okanogan tomorrow. Tillamook makes the long drive from Oregon to play at Tenasket at 12:30. Etihad hosts Quilcene at 2 o'clock. CWAC play. Ephrata visits East Valley at 7. Ellensburg's hosting Grandview. Sela's at Othello tomorrow. Prosser is hosting Aberdeen at 2 o'clock. Finally, college football landscape shifts to conference play this weekend. Washington State has a big tilt against number 15 Oregon at Martin Stadium tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's on Fox. Eastern Washington has a Big Sky Challenge in the form of Montana State Grand. That's at 1 o'clock on ESPN+. Number 18 Washington will host Stanford under the lights at Husky Stadium, 7:30 tomorrow night on FS1. Central has a bye. That's sports. Lots more on our website. Go there. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric, and I'll be watching that Bobcat Eastern game. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Get out and enjoy this beautiful weather. The days are getting shorter, but as Grant already mentioned, we're in for a beautiful stretch of weather, and we'll give you the latest weather update when we visit again on Monday. Looking forward to that. We'll have highlights of tonight's Wenatchee Eisenhower game, how the Mariners did over the weekend, get into the final couple of weeks of the baseball regular season. We'll let you know how the Seahawks did. We'll have your latest news headlines, everything you need to know to start the first full week of autumn on Monday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be here live and local at 7 a.m. We hope to see you then. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at NCWLIFE.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us and have a great weekend.
I'm Brian Thorpe, and I'm proud to say that Global Car Care is growing. We always do the right thing, and because of that, we're busy, and it's time to hire an experienced automotive technician. We spend as much time with our coworkers as we do our own family, I want them to understand they're not a number here. They're a person with a family, and I want them to be part of this family too. Do you want an owner that understands and respects what you do every day? I'm that guy. Our compensation is the best in the area. I want you to have your career with us.